Hello, friends. My name is Pawan. I am one of the Excel enthusiasts, and today I would like to share one of my work that I have created for capturing resource work plan. I believe that this file would be very useful for all of you, whosoever is interested in understanding or creating resource work plan. So this file has a total of 7 sheets. As you can see here, 6 of them are visible. These 6 sheets are named as introduction, entry sheet, task details, individual team details, high level work plan and detailed work plan, and finally settings. There is one extra sheet called as calculations that I have marked as hidden for now, because that is one of the sheets where I would not want anybody to do any changes for now, because that can obviously change the output of this particular file. So just to give you a brief introduction of each of these sheets, as you can imagine, the introduction sheet is just an introduction sheet. Uh, Going forward to the next sheet, which is the entry sheet, task details. So this is a sheet where we can enter different teams in the column B, that is track. Obviously, you can imagine that this can be renamed as teams as well, or team as well. And then we have for each of the for each of the teams, we have different team members that we can enter here. So currently, just to kind of create a minimum viable product for all of you, I have given a total of 10 teams here in this sheet with 10 team members in each one of them. As you can see, the start date for this resource work plan is 2nd of January, and this is something that you can decide or dictate over here in the settings file. So if you change the plan start date, automatically the first day of this resource plan would get updated or changed appropriately. So this is a 7 days per week resource plan, and in this resource plan, what you can do here is that you can specify the team. You can change the team name, team numbers as well, or team names as well, and obviously you can change the team members name as well. And then what you can do here is that you can choose for each of the individual days which team member belonging to a particular team obviously is doing what kind of activity. So just to give you a reference of what all activities I'm considering, these are the different activities that I'm considering as samples for my plan. And then I have different locations, and this field or this these values basically refer to in which location one or the other of these activities are going to get performed. So as you can imagine, in the column G, I have then created a combination of these three column values here. So the task, a divider, just a logical break basically, which is hyphen, and then the location. The formula that you can use to capture or to create the permutation and combination of all these three columns here in column G is also given here. So you can use this formula. And if you can see here, reading is an activity, or reading is a task that can be performed by our team members either in FF location, which is nothing else but Frankfurt, or in LON location, which is nothing else but London, or DEL location, which is nothing else but Delhi. Obviously, I can easily change it to say New York, just as an example, and automatically the combinations, as you can see here, will get changed. So once we would have defined the project or the resource plan start date, once we would have defined the task, and currently I'm keeping a maximum of 10 tasks as a default in this file. You can always define more than 10 tasks as well, but then you would have to modify the file as per your requirement. From project management terminology perspective, then that would mean that you would have to tailor the file as per your requirement. So currently I have used a total of 10 different tasks and a total of 3 different locations. That basically gives me a total of 30 different combination or permutation combination of task versus location. There is one extra task that I have created right now just to capture all the possible values here, and that is holiday. So let's say if our team members team member is on holiday, then how we are going to capture the effort or the activity for that particular team member? We are going to use holiday in that case. So now if I come back to the entry sheet here, and let me just clear out the complete data. And I will start with the first team member, who is Dexter Sullivan. And if I open this LOV, I would see all my list of values that I was seeing in the settings tab. I would be able to choose any one of them. So let's assume that this gentleman, Dexter, is going to perform a reading task from Frankfurt on 2nd of January. And also he is going to perform writing tasks from Frankfurt on 2nd of January. So if I choose two of these values from this LOV list of values, then as you can see here, there are two values that gets captured here. See, in this file, I have embedded some very basic VBA codes that helps me in achieving these kind of functionality, that I am able to choose more than one value from a list of value. Normally, in a typical data validation in Excel, you cannot do that. However, using VBA, we can achieve it. If you want to know more about this functionality, please feel free to reach out to me. However, going forward, as you can see for Dexter, for 2nd of January, we have chosen two different activities. If I go to Eric, let's say Eric is living in London and he is going to perform an activity of drinks on 2nd of January. Then we have Jaida, and he's going to do catering from London. Then we have Izia, who is going to perform, say, printing from New York, just as an example. Then we have Giovanna, who is going to perform catering from New York. Then we have Abel. So let me just pick up some extra values here just to give you some rough idea on how this file is going to look like. Okay, so I have chosen these values here. Maybe I can copy the same values in my team 2 as well. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to copy these values for the next 2 weeks. Okay, so this is basically just trying to simulate a scenario where these team members are going to perform these specific tasks in the first 2 weeks of next year. Okay, so now once these tasks have been entered here, I just need to save the file. And then after that, I have three different tabs. The next three tabs are going to give me the team level detail or the task level detail or the location level detail that I'm trying to achieve here. So if I go to the first tab, that is individual teams details tab, as you can see here, as a default, my team one has been chosen. But if I remove this team one, then automatically all the data from this sheet kind of gets evaporated. If I choose my group two, I would see the team names. But if I choose the team three, I would see the team names of team three. However, I would not see any of the activities for any of these team members. And the simple reason is because I have not defined any activities for these team members. Now, if I go back to the team one, and if I choose team one, I see that all the team members belonging to that team appears here. And as you can see that I have already defined the task for the first 8 team members here. I'm able to see the tasks for first 8 team members only belonging to each of these first 2 weeks. Now the data looks a bit cluttered here, so we can just click on this refresh button, and the moment I'll click on the refresh button, my data gets adjusted appropriately, and I'm able to see activities that are being performed by each of these team members belonging to team one in any of these days basically, and I would be able to do my planning very nicely appropriately. Now, let's say that the other two team members, they were on holiday during these 2 weeks. Okay, now if I come back to my next sheet, I would see that for the next two team members, it starts appearing up as holiday here as an activity. Okay, now for holiday, I have not given any city name like Frankfurt or New York or anything else or London, primarily because holidays are something which are either celebrated or spent at home, or people go out to different locations, multiple different locations, where it is not necessary to capture each one of those locations here. So I've just kept holiday without any or without linking to any of the locations as such. Now, if you notice here that holiday is wherever holiday is there as a task in the days column or in the dates column, it is appearing up in yellow because I have added a conditions formatting here. However, if you go and see the Frankfurt, wherever the word Frankfurt is there, it will appear in a particular color. London appears in another color. New York appears in another color. Now, as a logical thing, one person cannot perform more than one activity in more than one location. So we should not see any conflict under under normal circumstances. If a person stays in one city and then goes to the other city in the same day and then try to perform a second task or maybe the same task, then there might be some conflicts which obviously can be resolved by working on the conditional formatting. So in this sheet, there are two different sections. The first section basically captures the details based on teams. As you can see here, if I choose team two, then for for the team members belonging to team two, all the tasks gets refreshed here. And obviously, I can always fiddle around with the data here in this sheet just to be able to see how things look from look perspective. So now if I've just now I've changed the major activities for a good number of team members in team 2. So obviously you can see that all these four team members are now displaying or showing holiday as an activity for them in the first 2 weeks of next year. Now within this sheet, I have a second section as well, which is nothing else but it basically carries an LOV over here in the name field, and then if I choose any one of them, automatically I will be able to see and the activities belonging to that particular person. But let's say that I do not know the name of that person completely. However, I remember that in that person's name there was a G and A that was there in the name actually. So now if I press GNA and if I try to click on this LOV, I will see only those team members who has a GA as a continuous string in their name. So you can see all these names who has G, and obviously then it will be easy for me to track any one of them. So let's say that I remember that the person had a NOL in their in his or her name. I'll enter NOL and then I'll come back here. So I see that I have two names, Blake Arnold and Lana Nolan, who has NOL in their name. So let's say I wanted to search for Lana Nolan, and if I do this, automatically my each of the tasks which are going to be performed or which are planned to be performed by Lana are started showing up or will start showing over here. After this, if I go to the high level work plan, this is one sheet basically where I would be able to see that, okay, for these three locations, for these activities, which of the activities are active or enabled or are getting performed on a particular day. So as you can see here that I can easily see that for Frankfurt on 2nd of January, my reading, writing, speaking and typing activities are going to get performed and so on. So this will give you basically a breakup of location versus activity versus whether it's being performed on a particular day, yes or no. Just as a test, I'll go to 20th of January. I'll go to 20th of January over here, okay, in this entry sheet, and then I choose, um, say, drinks Frankfurt, and then I also choose drinks London, and then I also choose drinks New York, and then I save it. Now, when I come back here, I would immediately see that on 20th of January, I have drinks Frankfurt enabled, drinks London enabled, and drinks New York enabled. So basically, this is a nice way of deciding over here in the entry sheet which task is going to be performed by which team member and in which location. And then correspondingly in this sheet, we are easily able to identify or capture or collate the information related to location versus activity versus whether that activity is going to get performed on a particular day, yes or a no. Okay. Then we have the detailed work plan. Now, some of you might be interested in even going one step further, like you may want to know, okay, on a particular day, who all were the individuals who are performing a particular activity. So now if I come here in this sheet, This is a sheet which is one level up as compared to, or one level more detailed as compared to the previous sheet. Over here, I had only the city, activity, and the date, and whether the activity is getting performed, yes or a no, in the form of an X. However, if I go to the next sheet over here, it is pretty much the same format. It's just that I'm able to see the names of the individuals as well who are performing those tasks. And as you can see that the text is appearing a bit cluttered over here. Now, if I refresh it, I will be able to see the names very clearly for each of the activities. And as you can see here that just as an example, the last entry that I made was related to the 20th of January, and I gave Dexter Sullivan, Eric Wu, and Jaida the activity of drinks from Frankfurt, London, and New York respectively. That is what I gave here, the first three team members. And as you can see that if somebody will ask me, okay, on 20th of January, who all people are performing the task of drinks from Frankfurt, I'm able to see that information over here at one go. And if I just go back here and if I give this same task to say team 3 and maybe to team 4 as well. Now, if I come back here, I will see the names. However, the names are still appearing cluttered. I just need to click on refresh. Then I just need to go on the right on 20th of January, and I would see that the names of all the team members belonging to different tracks or belonging to different teams who performed the task of drinks on 20th of January will start appearing over here. Okay. So in general, as I mentioned earlier, that I have currently captured only 3 different cities because I believe for a normal project or for a medium or a small project, 3 cities or 3 locations are in general sufficient. And then also I have included only 10 activities as such because I believe 10 activities in general would be more than sufficient. And then finally, I also have in the settings tab a possibility of defining what all tasks you would want to specify in your resource plan. So please feel free to use this and let me know your feedback. And in case of any questions or any concerns, please feel free to reach out to excelforair at gmail.com. And also, please subscribe to my channel. I have one extra video that has been uploaded in my channel that is related to hourly Gantt chart. Please review that, have a look at that, and I'm sure you will find that chart extremely useful for your day-to-day activities. Thank you very much. I wish you all a great day. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if possible, share this video on your LinkedIn or on your Facebook or on your Twitter channel so that many people or professionals are able to take advantage or take benefit out of this resource work plan. Thank you and have a great day.